Welcome back, everyone, to Confessions of a Loveaholic. I am your host, Emmy Hernandez, and I have an incredible guest with me today. Her name is Joyce Ayers. Did I say that right? Yeah, woo-hoo, awesome. Forgot to ask right before we started. So yes, Joyce Ayers. And let me tell you about Joyce. She is a soul-aligned manifestation coach. And let me tell you what that means. So as a soul-aligned mindset and manifestation coach, Joyce is committed to guiding individuals and discovering and manifesting the life they desire. She empowers clients to break through from their self-limiting beliefs and at a soul level to believe they are worthy of love, abundance, and happiness. And after a 25-year journey seeking happiness through external resources, she realized that the key lies within ourselves. What we seek and believe is possible. Joyce found her calling when she aligned with her true self and the values most important to her life. And I can already hear you saying, well, no wonder, Emmy, you invited her to the show because you talk a lot about manifestation and manifesting love. So Joyce, thank you so much for joining us here today. I'm super excited to get into our topics.
Oh, thank you, Emmy. This is awesome. I'm so excited too. And yeah, I just love your energy already and what we're going to be talking together and just sharing with your audience.
Yes, I love it. So I love talking to manifestation experts because you and I know that this is not mumbo jumbo, right? It is not just wishful thinking. So, Joyce, in your opinion, what is the essence of manifestation and how does it differ from just wishful thinking, which a lot of people might think it is?
um, Manifestation, well, first of all, wishful thinking is just that. It's like, I wish I was happier. I wish I could find the love of my life. I wish there was somebody that would just really get me, or I could have whatever it is that we want. And so we're wishing, we're hoping, and then we just sort of throw it out there and it just sort of poof disappears, and then nothing happens. It's like, well, look, I'll never have this, I'll never have that. So that's wishful thinking, and just hoping something will happen, and maybe even expecting it just because, like, oh, well, I would love this, and expecting that they'll have it. And then there's this belief underneath that says, no, you're not really worthy of love. And, we'll get into more of that later, but wishful thinking is so much different than manifestation. Manifestation is being intentional, creating this thing that you want, whether it's relationships, your health. We're here talking about, as a loveaholic, manifesting. Like the big one for me that I really missed for those 25 years was how to love myself. I didn't know what I wanted. I just knew that there was something missing, and I didn't know about manifesting. I was manifesting all the other stuff. And I was very powerful about manifesting those other things. And there's concepts that go into that. But it's manifesting is very intentional. You bring all of your senses to the surface, and it's like the mind doesn't know truth, or it doesn't know imagination from truth, like something that actually is possible to something that we're dreaming about. Like you just kind of like imagine you're sitting on a swing, there's one of those cozy swings, you're looking up at the sky, and like you start visualizing, actually it's called associating into being with your partner, like your perfect partner that loves you, that gets you, that you can talk to them about, you can be vulnerable with. So the mind doesn't know that that's not happening. So we're manifesting that. Now, if there's a belief that is in alignment with that, yes, you are worthy of this. This is possible. This is like, you can have this. And if those two things align, then the manifestation can take on some like progress there. So again, the wishful thinking is just like throwing something out, and the manifestation, when it's done a certain way, because we can't just say, like, oh, I want, an incredible human being to be in my life and expect it to happen. There's a lot more that goes into it. And what else I was going to say? yeah, so there's the intention setting, again, like that daydreaming kind of thing, the visualization, and then taking the action, because it's like, well, we should just sit back and do nothing. It's like, well, no, like, we need to go out and meet people. We need to use our voice. We need to like start progressing towards that thing, not just bring it to me, give it to me. And there is that part of manifestation too, which we can talk about later if that's comes up more in detail. But, it's like when we have expectations that it's got a manifestation has to be a certain way, where really there's something that we kind of limit ourselves to in that manifestation, but really we're like, this other thing is waiting for us out there to bless us. But it's like, well, I really only expect that I can have this, so I'll cap it, right? I'm only going to go up to here. But it's like, and then there's other parts like, hey, but there's so much more this universe wants for you that, God wants to bless you with. And but we can't visualize that as something that's for us and possible for us. So wishful thinking, manifesting, very different.
Thank you so much for going over that, Joyce. I like to tell my clients, hope is not a strategy. Right?
You can hope some more.
Right? Like hoping is good, wishing is good, but they are not a strategy. And manifestation is what I call where the soul meets science, right? Where we use our intuition. And if you look at the basis of manifestation, the reason I started believing in manifestation is because I started studying quantum physics.
Oh, yeah.
I started learning about frequencies. So for those of you listening and who maybe it's an introduction to manifestation, maybe you've been following it for a while, really get into some of the powerful books around quantum physics and how that's broken down with manifestation, because it's one and the same, right? So it starts helping your ego sort of like remove some of those belief systems of like, oh, well, maybe I'm just like hoping something that is going to happen. And you realize like, no, you are scientifically creating your future and your present by choosing a desire or an outcome. Now, I will caveat this with when it comes to love, and different areas as well, but when it comes to love, there's a huge mistake that I see a lot of people make, and I want your opinion on this, Joyce, here in a moment when I give you the scenario. Is I've had women come to me say, Emmy, I met my soulmate and he doesn't know who I am yet, and I want you to help me manifest him. And what they mean is that they met someone either at work or at school, and they think this guy is cute. They've never talked to this person, or maybe they've briefly interacted, but now they are trying to force that this person is going to be their husband. And I'm going to tell you right now, that is not manifestation. That is obsession. Okay. That is not how it works. So anybody who ever tells me, like comes to me, like, I want to manifest that person to be my husband, that's not how it works. That's actually a very toxic way of looking at it. You need to allow the universe to send over who your person is. So all we can do is focus on what we want and visualize how we want to feel with this specific person. And then the universe decides who she or he is sending our way. I'd love your opinion on that, Joyce.
Yeah, going back to what I said earlier, just to kind of blend the two together. It's like when we cap our expectations, it's like, I really only feel like, or love looks like this, and in the interactions and whatnot, and we limit it. And if that person meets the requirements of that expectation, take away that expectation, and it's like, oh no, this person is not not who I really want. And so we're creating or determining what the manifestation is. So it's not manifestation. We're taking the control instead of letting it come to us. And but our vibration and our frequency with that quantum physics, if this is new to your listeners, just when if you, I do a lot with embodiment, and embodiment really taps into the intuition. And so I have a lot of thoughts in my head going on right now. So I'm trying to like funnel them, and I try to like, okay, no, I could do this and this. So I just
go for it. They're all connected. Go for it.
Okay, so vibration and frequency and embodiment and intuition. So when we get out of our heads, like that ego, kind of give it something to do, right? Give it something to focus on. And then our body, our unconscious part, can start tuning in to the other person. And we're already getting, I call it like maybe little hints or little nudges. It's like there's this little nudge, like, oh, that person could be good. And then the little part of us says, but it's like, yeah, but they're good looking and they seem so nice. And we really want to pursue that, whatever. And then there's another part that says, So it's quiet, and then it might get louder and get louder. But this is the vibration, the frequency that if we have this low expectation for ourselves, we're going to attract that person, the person with that same vibration. It's not who we're meant to be with, ultimately, because we have clearing out to do. And when we clear out those beliefs, those other programmed, again, I studied NLP. I'm very versed in NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. It's the language that we use as an expression of what's going on inside, and our thoughts and our concepts of right or wrong, or can we have, can't we have. So all of this is playing out. And so we can change our vibration and frequency. We may get to that later on. So there's ways, and I work with my clients to raise that frequency, to release, to rewrite, reprogram the beliefs, the mindset that we approach relationships with. So when we raise our vibration, when we raise the potential or possibility of what wants to come into our lives or into our souls, then we open the door, we open the window, and just kind of and let it come to us. So anytime that person might be pretty good, or this person, we're almost like grabbing and grasping and pulling it towards us. And again, there's this part of us inside will be going, it's okay, but but we shh, be quiet. I've got this. The ego is like, I've got this. I'm in control. So I'm not sure if I really answered all of your question or whatever it was we were doing.
No, it's perfect. You reminded me of a client I had many moons ago where we started, she was very early on in this process. She had watched the movie The Secret, and she was like, okay, I understand sort of like this energy stuff. And she was manifesting her husband, at least she thought she was. She was very successful financially. She had purchased a condo. She had 3 bedrooms, beautiful home. But then I found out that she slept on a twin bed. So let me tell you what the problem is with the twin bed is that I asked her, I was like, well, when your husband comes or when you meet someone special, like, are they going to sleep on the twin bed with you, or are they going to sleep on a completely different bed? She's like, no. When my guy shows up, then I'll get a queen or a king size bed. And I said, see, that's where you're holding yourself back. So there was a contradicting belief in her where she wanted to manifest her husband, but she didn't truly believe it. And the reason we know that she didn't truly believe it is because she wasn't taking the action now in eager anticipation of her husband's arrival. Okay, so we need to act now in the frequency and energy of what the manifested desire is, even if it's in the future. We don't have control over the timing of it, but we do have control over the action. So what happened is we shifted that energy and that concept for her, and she realized how she was accidentally, because it's all an accident, accidentally holding her back from actually going on dates with amazing men. Because guess what? She was going on dates, but she kept finding men that were not committed. Of course they weren't, because she wasn't committed either. Oops, right? The twin bed was accidentally sending off frequency, even though they didn't know she had that. She was accidentally giving off the frequency of she was afraid of going into a committed relationship when now there would be a union. So once we switched, I think she ended up buying a king bed, and the type of men she started going on dates with were vastly different as soon as we made that shift.
Mm-hmm. That's funny. You're I'm laughing at myself because this was a few years back. I read something about that. It's like, well, like if you really want, okay. So I had divorced, so now I have a husband, and so I was like, okay, I'm not interested in dating. I'm not, I need some time for myself to kind of like change my vibration, start to manifest what it is I do want. And I was like watching or listening to some dating coaches, and they said, go just get on one of those dating sites and go out on dates, because that's how you're going to find out who you are and how you're showing up as. You're going to learn a lot about yourself. And I'm like, really? Okay, well, I guess I could do that. And because I did no interest at all in going on these dating sites. And I did learn a lot about myself, but in all of that, it was, oh, well, have a drawer or have space in your room, like where your partner can put their clothes, have space in the closet for them, for their shoes and their coats. Have, like, not just imagine, create your environment as if someone is already there. Even in the bathroom, right? It's like, oh my, everything was full of my stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to create this area for this person. Even towels. It's like, put up a towel where their towel would be. All of these things, when you sit down to eat, put a placemat beside you so you're actually inviting someone in. So again, those things raise the vibration and the energy. And I was going to add something, but I forgot now. I was going to circle back to something else, but I was focused on elaborating on what you were saying.
Yes, no, it's 100%. That's what I walk my clients through. One of the very first things that we do is we do a purging and reset, right? So how are you getting rid of things that remind you of exes or husbands that don't need to be part of your energy anymore, whether you gift, donate, or just trash. And then you move into creating this new space. And that's just one of the sort of energy hacks that we have here. But I want us to shift into what you and I know is one of the most powerful energy shifting. Can you discuss the role of gratitude in the manifestation journey, and how expressing gratitude can accelerate the process?
Oh yeah, gratitude. It's definitely a vibrational shift. It's one of the things that I work with my clients on. And we, as human beings, we all tend to pretty much look for what's wrong in something. What is it that isn't going right? So we have this focus on the negative, and that serves a purpose. That served a purpose and serves a purpose in our primal state of preserving our life, preserving our health, all that. And so we have a tendency to focus on those things. And when we have that focus, it activates this RAS. I'm imagining you know what that is, reticular activation system. So it's like, what we expect to find, we will. So imagine you have like choice A and choice B, right? They're always out there, like this guy or this guy, right? Or this woman or that woman or this other partner. And our reticular activation system is like, imagine we're not in gratitude, we're just looking for everything that's wrong. So we tend to like, oh, I don't want this person because this, or that expectation of I can only have this much happiness in my life. We bump up against it. Oh, this person meets my definition of a wonderful partner. And so we look for those things that match and align with our expectation. Now, if we have very low expectations, because that's what we expect all we can have, then we could say we have gratitude for that. But if we just like let it all go, and we just like everything in our life, whether it's a partner or whatever it is, if we just start practicing gratitude, it's like the sun is shining. It may be a big stretch to start off with a gratitude practice. And what I've found, even with my own self, as I had started a while back with the gratitude, is we will start listing. It's like list 20 things that you're grateful for. And you're, oh, no problem, right? So I'm grateful I have food in my fridge. I'm grateful I have my dog to keep me company. I'm grateful that, all of these sort of outside material things. And then as you get closer to that like, oh, now I've got to stretch a little more here. Maybe I'm grateful for, oh, that conversation I had with my girlfriend the other day. I'm grateful for this opportunity, but then it's like, I'm grateful that I feel whole and complete. Where'd that come from? So as we keep listing and keep listing, we almost feel like we've run out, but that's where the gold is. Like that's where the juicy stuff is. Because if we can just go 5 more on that list, even like 10 more, you're going to go deeper and deeper and deeper into a part of yourself that hasn't been allowed to exist or be aware of or know. It's like the little things, like if somebody that you really, I don't know, maybe you're on out of sorts with someone, like you had an argument and you're like, okay, I could care less if I ever talk to them again, whatever it is. If you found one little thing that you could remember about that person to be grateful for, just one little thing that could start like a little chain reaction. And what it does in the heart, because see, the heart is protecting. It's like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to open to you. I don't know if I want to, if this is safe. So the heart is somewhat closed. And when you start practicing gratitudes, it's like the heart gets, like if I imagine like, okay, I'm locked down right in my heart. So imagine as you practice gratitudes, there we go. You start like see the fingers start to slip apart a little bit more and a little bit more. And then, the lotus flower, if you're a yogi, the lotus flower, like you have the little pinky fingers and the thumb, and you make a flower and you put it at the heart. And so there's this energy here. And then your heart starts to open up more and you're feeling love. And you can almost start to even like love parts of yourself. And that's the big one. It's like when we, like, and this is something I didn't know. It's like somebody was talking to me about self-love. This was probably like 10 years ago. And when I started this journey part, and it's like, well, yeah, of course I love myself. Like, yeah, I love myself. And why wouldn't I love myself? And it's like, yeah, but do you love yourself in this way or that way? And I'm like, oh, that's self-love. It's like, well, going to sleep when I'm tired, saying no to things that really aren't going to serve me because I'm thinking, oh, all I'm doing is people pleasing. So you're like, there's so much more that's wrapped up in the self-love. And so when we can get deeper into that place, then we have more space for other people and to see other people with that same kind of love and acceptance. And so we have more capacity to be grateful and have gratitude. Yeah. And it's really grounding. It's a very grounding thing because we're up in our heads a lot. It's like I kind of like have a little wedge here in NLP. It's like the critical factor wedge. We have this part of our head that's not talking to this part down below, but this is the part that really has the bigger chunk. But this part is like, no, we're not going to do that.
I love that, Joyce. And what I've learned in the gratitude practice, and by the way, I'd love to get your insights on this and share with our listeners. For me, it had to become a ritual, right? It started off with like once a week, making a list of what I was grateful for, and then really truly doing it on a daily basis, sometimes morning and night, even if I quote unquote didn't feel like it or couldn't even think of anything new. But it was the idea of, and it didn't always feel like it opened up my heart every single time, but it was this consistent ritual that I started realizing like, oh, wow, like a lot more beautiful things happen to me throughout the day if I start with this, because I was already celebrating what I did have as opposed to focusing on what I didn't have, which is what our brain is by default, by the way. We have to work against our instincts on this, right? So the gratitude list is working against your instincts to have a practice of really recognizing like, oh, wow, like I'm breathing right now. Oh, wow, like I woke up alive, like all of my organs are working and I didn't even have to tell it to do that. So these are it starts off with little things. And to your point, Raul, like the magic starts to happen once you go past the list of like the basics, let's call it. And that's where the magic starts to happen, because you were mentioning about the head and the heart. And we have studies now that show, like, we know that we have brain waves, right? Brainwave frequency. Like we have machines that track that. And we also can track the energy in our hearts. That's what an EKG is. Hello, right? An electrocardiogram test. So what happens is when we feel anxiety is when our head brain waves and our heart waves are out of sync. And there's only one way of making those brain waves and those heart waves come into synchronicity. And that is by doing gratitude. Gratitude is the only way to get your body to go into like, oh, okay, there's not a tiger following me. I'm not being chased. I'm not about to die. I have no need to be anxious right now. I'm okay. And I'm allowed to breathe. I am safe. Joyce, can you walk us through some of your exercises for your clients so they can step into gratitude? Because I feel like when I first started this, it felt like such a daunting task. For those that are listening or watching here today, can you walk us through, let's say, a beginner newbie who's coming to you and you want to introduce them to gratitude, an exercise or a ritual that you think would change their life?
Yeah, they how we tend to approach most things is, okay, we think about it and then we just start doing it. So we're out of this, we're not in this embodied state. We're thinking from our heads and we're in the process of just doing. Okay, all right, sure, I'm gonna write my gratitude. It's like, okay, 1 to 10, bing, 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 bing. Oh, okay, I'm at 8. I got to think about this a little more. Okay, blah, blah, blah. And, okay, done, right? Done. It's like, I've done the list, check. Okay, now I can go brush my teeth or something or get dressed for the day. But that's, yes, that's the beginning of a practice. Like maybe that's where someone starts because they haven't done anything. They haven't done any meditations. They haven't done breath work. They don't have any morning rituals or nighttime rituals. And so maybe it's just, oh, I heard this gratitude thing helps me to help be more in my heart space and, link the coherence. Dr. Joe Dispenza is amazing. He's like, gosh, if no one has heard about Dr. Joe Dispenza, he is like the science geek of all of this. So definitely check out his meditations are so powerful. So for the for a gratitude practice, like, yeah, maybe you're just the fact that you're doing it is just start there. It's like meditation. I've never meditated before. Well, sit down for 1 minute and just close your eyes. Okay, just start somewhere. It's like, well, I don't know how to meditate. It's like, as soon as you close your eyes and you sit still, you're meditating. Yeah, but my thoughts keep going all over the place. You're still meditating. My thoughts go all over the place too. And it's after the practice, maybe, okay, now you get to 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Oh my gosh, like that last minute, and then you work up to it and you work up to it and then you settle more into it. So in those types of practices that are unfamiliar in our bodies like, what are you doing? Like, what are we doing here? Like we have stuff to do. I have to be planning this. I have to be planning that. We're all in the doing instead of the being, and a way to transition into the being. And this is, this exercise is, through meditation teachers, through yogi teachers, many somatic teachers, they all incorporate this type of process to take yourself through first so that you become present. And so whether it's this gratitude exercise that you're doing or you're about to have a conversation with someone, whatever it is, just take a moment to settle yourself and actually become present. When you become present, you become embodied and you actually calm your nervous system. Because if you're preparing to do something and you're up here in your head, you're probably breathing up here, which is your fight or flight state. And when you become more present with this exercise, I'm going to just teach you in a moment, you bring down your energy into the belly area. And if you take your deep breath in your belly area, then it signals to the whole body to like, ooh, to just land, and it calms your nervous system. And now you can be in more of this expansive space. So what a number of people, plus, what I'm going to show you, do this anytime that you feel you're in your head a lot and it'll give you clarity. Like when you need to be like thinking, what should I do? What should I do? This is a great exercise to do to get into that space. And that way you tap into your intuition as well. So what you do is, you get yourself comfortable. Imagine imagine most people are going to be sitting when they're going to do the gratitude journal. So as you sit, you uncross your ankles, uncross your arms. So you maybe just placing your hands just gently on your lap or a table. So crossing things almost cut off the energy. So that's why you uncross the legs. And so as you're sitting here, most likely you're clenching your glute muscles, your butt muscles. So just relax them. Oh yeah, okay. And then if your legs, depending on women or male or female, we tend to have our legs either way out or way in, like almost like if we're way in, we tend to be squeezing them in. So just let them fall open wherever they want to fall open. Relax the glute muscles again. So you're anchoring yourself down. You're sending the energy down. If your feet are touching the floor, or if they're not touching the floor, have your feet touch the floor. So again, you're grounding as well. So you work on the below the waist first. And then from there, you can take a deep, sometimes I'll exhale. On the exhale, I'll just send the exhale down. And it's like this weight that goes down. Sometimes even putting weight on your legs, like on your lap, like a pillow or blanket or something. It's just a little bit of weight. It helps to what you call ground you, just kind of anchors you. And from that place, the lower half of your body. And then from there, as you breathe in, just imagine your spine getting really long. And then your chin is level, because as your spine gets long, you're not lifting the chin. Chin is just level. You might even just do a little shaking of the shoulders. And as you sit up high, now you're opening up the front of your body, the belly, the ribs, and the heart, because otherwise we tend to like slouch, right? And then the head goes forward and we get pain in the back of the neck. So as we breathe in, we lift up. And this is all, like, you think, oh my gosh, this is so much to do just to prepare to do gratitude. Just imagine, like, you do this more and more, it'll be like done in seconds. So again, if you might be clenching your glute muscles already, just relax them, relax the legs, soften the knees, lift up high through the spine, maybe even bring your shoulder blades to get together a little bit, opening up the heart space. And whether you smile or not, doesn't matter, but imagine this happiness inside of you. Think of a happy time, or your special place that you take your imagination to when you just like want to get away. And then the last step is really important, the heart space. Just imagine the heart space opening. Remember, it's kind of tight because it's protective. Just imagine it opening. And then from here, when you feel really settled, calm, and peaceful, start your gratitudes. And then the gratitudes become manifestations. So as you're writing your gratitudes, write one of them and then feel, I'm so grateful for my dog. It's not just a check. It's like, I'm grateful for my dog. And it's like, what am I grateful for? Like, she loves to play ball. She brings me toys. She likes me to pet her ears. She knows when I'm in a different mood and I need comforting. I'm grateful for her. So take a moment to, like, what is it you're grateful about? Give it some context, especially give it some feeling. So that feeling drops down in the heart space. And so just this practice, staying present, and maybe you get through 5. And then just stretch it one more, right? Or you get to 10. Maybe 10 was easy. However many are easy, stretch it. Like if it's 5, do 1 more. If it's 10, do 2 more. If it's 15, do 5 more. So, as the more you go, stretch it that much more on the other end. So again, this is a practice for the gratitudes, because we were just talking about that. And it can be used anywhere at any time to get back into this state. So when you're in this state, you see potential people that resonate with you, that you're actually looking for as a partner. But when this is all closed off and we're breathing up here, then we're just like, okay, will you do? No. Will you do? No. So this way we raise our vibration, our frequency. We're almost like sending signals out to bring to me someone who is for my highest self, higher self, we call it. So that's one practice that can be used anywhere, but it's especially good for gratitudes in the morning to start your day, because then you start your day with a certain energy, an intentional energy of what you want to create, the way you want to present yourself in that world. And at the end of the day, it's like, hey, what was it about the day, rather than all the things you didn't do, that you still didn't do, or that didn't go right, because that's our way to go is to focus on those things. Like, focus on what went well. What did you accomplish? What deeper connections did you have with someone? Any of those things.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for walking us through that exercise, Joyce. I was following it with my eyes open, and even just giving the commands of, like, relax this, relax that. It's crazy how when you just give the small little I call them commands, but they're kind of like guides, right? Like your body's like, oh yeah, huh? Oh yeah, I was keeping this tight. Oh yeah, I can do this. Oh yeah, I can. Like it is so, so, so powerful. I really appreciate you walking us through that. And I hope those of you listening, if you didn't get a chance to do it while Joyce was explaining it, please go back and do it when you're not driving. And follow through, because it just feels so yummy. It's just those few seconds. And you're right. Like I got really good at doing that. At first it felt really cumbersome and kind of like clunky, but I can get into that state within a second or two and then tap into whatever else I need to do. But it took me a while, and that's why it's called a practice, right? You sort of build upon it. It's absolutely beautiful, Joyce. Thank you so much. Joyce, we could talk for hours, and I'm sure you have so many different techniques that you can share with the clients here and the listeners. How can people find out more about you, and where can they go to find out more about your amazing techniques and learn from you and hire you?
Well, I would love to have a conversation with anyone who is seeking support practices. So you can go to my website, soul, SOUL dash genius, GENIUS.com, and just schedule a call with me. It's free. Just, hey, like, what's going on? What are you looking for? What's not working? What do you need? And I love having a conversation first, rather than just saying, hey, do this, because maybe that's not what's going to serve you best in the moment with what's really going on. Because again, we're up here and we think we know what we want, but down here knows what we really want. So this is where I want to tap into the soul. That's why it's called Soul Genius. We don't call it Head Genius. We call it Soul Genius. And so yeah, let's start there. Just reach out to me, and let's just have a little chat, because I do want to know where you're at, what you're dealing with, what you're looking for. You want to bounce an idea off of me. Hey, I'm doing this, but it's not working. What should I like? What other options are there? So let's start there. You can also go to my Facebook group, Facebook page, Joyce Ayers. I post all sorts of things there, as we all do, like quotes, inspirations, silly things, programs that I'm offering. I definitely always will post those on my Facebook page. I do have actually a webinar coming up on the March 13th. So you can go to my Facebook page to find out about that. I haven't put it on there yet. It'll be probably tomorrow. So Joyce Ayers, I think there might be a few of them, but look for the one with the white hair.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Joyce. I want to circle back and just kind of close this off. But you said something so powerful earlier, and I want to reiterate this. Manifestation does not work with words. Manifestation works with emotion and feeling. Okay. So what you want will come through with your feelings, because the feelings create frequency. We use our words to get us to the feelings and the frequency. So I just want to make sure everyone understood that. You brought that up, Joyce, and I was like, oh my God, yes, I want to make sure we reiterate that, because it is so, so powerful. Thank you so much, Joyce, for being with us today. It was an absolute pleasure to have you on our show. And remember, everyone, you deserve safe love. See y'all next time.
Thank you.